kind of started to discovering the scope of this what you do. It's like yeah, it's huge. I think it's
Well, it's definitely needed. It would seem as though, John, that because we are all living beings, that a commitment to living would be a given, right? But it's not, and that's the problem. Is that even though everybody exists as a part of this phenomenon called life, everybody's not committed to living. And the fact that we have those who care to be um, big, fame, fortune, government, status, wealth, and whatnot, who are not necessarily committed to life either. They may be committed to profit. They may be committed to business. They may be committed to the spread of democracy or capitalism or whatever, but that does not really mean that you're committed to living. And because we have multi-trillion-dollar business, it's probably more than that, in the industries of creating sickness, illness, disease, and death, then it's a problem globally. It's a major problem that you have so much industry that is really thinking erroneously that they can profit off of undermining the well-being of people. So when you went to my website and you saw the different issues that I speak to, the primary one, the biggest one, in terms of our realizing that we are still under the auspices of a global agenda of divide and conquer. All right. Now, each individual one of us should be indivisible. We should be whole beings. We should have been from utero, from the time we were typed male and female in our mother's wombs. It was destined that we would become men and women, right? It's destined that we would become men and women. You can only be male or female as embryos or fetuses, and then your destiny is becoming a man, which is the progenitor of lineages, or a wombed man, the perpetuator of lineages. So the foundation of our existence is in the perpetuation of life, and that all other beings, from the amoeba to the whale to the biggest creatures upon the earth, everything is oriented from a place of absolute intelligence. All right, they do nothing to undermine themselves. They exalt a full life's urge. They know their food, they excrete their waste, they know their kind, they perpetuate themselves, and they are committed to their lives to the degree to which they will respond appropriately when they sense that their lives are being threatened. Whether it's the porcupine throwing its quill, or the skunk stamping and spraying, or the rattlesnake striking. You understand, every creature has a way to try to defend itself, even if it's just running. All right. Now, we as human beings are no longer functioning as other intelligences do. We exalt our right to be wrong. We exalt our right to sicken ourselves, to kill other ones, right? We don't know our food. We're not excreting our waste, which is why we have so much sickness, illness, and disease. We no longer want to perpetuate ourselves. Abortion is big business, right? Divorce, single family households. It's like whatever is the order, we don't care to be in it. You understand? Because there's order in existence. And that's what I really speak to. Why? Because it should be our natural inclination to do everything that we possibly can do to our greater good and to our betterment. But when you have religion, you have government, you have education or miseducation, and you have the cultures. You have so many different cultures of people all across the planet, and everybody seems to be out of alignment in the sense that they exalt their right to kill, when killing is the foundational taboo of existence. It's the primary law, thou shalt not kill, and now killing is multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's a problem. It's the major issue of the world, beyond economy, beyond government, beyond democracy, beyond all of those things that people are exalting. The fact that we are not committed to living is a problem.
So that is the food industry, the war industry, all these things. That is because it's not committed to living. Undermining our life force through the wrong input.
Right, and it's daily. It's just daily. Okay, so those of us who, it's like we all grow through similar seasons and cycles in our lives. All right, but there is law that governs our lives, but we were never really taught the laws that govern lives, the laws that ensure our progression, the laws that ensure our health, our vitality, our productivity, our creativity, our joy, our delight. You understand, our being able to tap into the abundance of existence. You understand, where people are centered from a place of thinking that there's lack, there's scarcity, that they are living consistently in fear. Their miseducation is not really bringing the greatness of them forward, but literally dumbing them down. Because the real thing that we really need to know as living beings is how to honor life. But it's beyond just who we are as human beings. It is in our honoring life across the board, all orders of being, every living thing. All right. So we have those who love to hunt. We have those who love to kill. They have gone through Africa and gotten Africans to sign off on and lead their safaris, so that you go into some people's studies and some people's houses, and they've got the head of rhinos and the head of deer and the head of elk and the head of buffalo and whatnot. I'm just saying is that the killing, the atrocity, is that you have 7 billion people on the planet, which facilitate the annihilation of 20 billion animals on an annual basis, because the foundation of the ill is speciesism. All right, we can talk about racism, we can talk about sexism, but very few people talk about the speciesism, where humans, or those who want to refer themselves as human, now they are kind of humankind, right? Where they get off in feeling entitled to subjugate, bastardize, usurp, murder, kill, squander other beings, feed off their body parts, you understand, and waste them. Whether it's the whaling in the oceans, all of the killing of the seals, all of the sea creatures are endangered. And then you have the meat industry, which is 90% of the global warming in terms of the amount of feces that's being dumped into the waters and streams, in terms of how much methane gas is being produced in the air and within the waters, that's causing the waters to warm, the ice to melt, the waters to rise, the storms to brew. I'm just saying is that humanity and humankind are out of alignment with the laws that govern our living. Now, the earth herself is still in flotation and rotation. The sun is still beaming. All of the other planets are still orbiting. We are in a lawful universe, right? And we are on this intergalactic spaceship called Mother Earth. And then you have those who are bombing, drilling, raping, you understand, Mother Earth herself, and then killing her creatures, poisoning her waters, you understand?
Yes,
and
yes.
act as if they have right to prosper in life. How can you prosper in life when you have no commitment to the living and to the order of that which exists? That's our problem across the board.
So
All right, now we as individuals we have the opportunity to realign ourselves individually. All right, because there's no power that we can have over the stupidity, the ignorance, the raping, the pillaging, the divisive energy, right? The violation, if we are continually violating ourselves. We have to exalt a full life's urge, get to a point where we do nothing to undermine ourselves or ourselves, to be in a place where we will not support the violation, the annihilation, the subjugation, the domination, the slaughter, entrapment, incarceration of these beings, and then feed off of their body parts as if it was food. The meat industry is hellacious. You understand? And I don't know how it exists in other places. I've only been in America all of my life, right? But I know that we, the American population of all hues, of all ethnicities, right, support this industry of death. So it's not just the meat industry. You have the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the sea creatures. Then you have the tobacco, the alcohol, the soda companies, the candy companies. You understand that I'm looking at food as the tool of oppression under this world conquering rampage to divide and conquer us, right? Mm-hmm. A world conquering rampage that most of us heard about when we were in school, but it's still going on, and most people are not responding appropriately to being under siege. We are complicit and complacent. We think that it's good fun to feed off of big steaks and shrimp and crab and sushi, and to feed off of death. And therefore we're bringing death into our bodies, because our bodies are designed by the intelligence of existence. The intelligence of existence is beginningless, it's endless, it's infinite and eternal. There is no thing, no one who is greater than it, who can outthink it, outlast it, outplan it. These people are spending billions of dollars to try to recreate the Big Bang, right? While they let people starve, you understand, while they're supporting warfare and militarism and creating more refined ways of killing populations, all right? So that when you have so many who constitute, in terms of the world population, those ones are a very small part of the population, all right, the 1% or whoever. But the rest of the population, we would have more power if we did not feed off the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, be drinking alcoholic beverages, smoking, and you understand, and killing ourselves. We would have a greater way to respond, but because we are complicit and complacent, we have become powerless. You understand? Now we are drowning in this sea of sickness, illness, and disease, despair, degradation, suicide, homicide, genocide. It is what we have to raise completely up against on behalf of life itself, to stand on behalf of life itself, life for everything and everybody everywhere. And so our coming to a point where we realize where the real I, when to realize the thing, the real I in us is truly seeing. Now, for whatever beings there are, Mother Cow would prefer to have the courtship with Father Bull, all right? Mother Cow with Father Bull are not having that relationship here in the States. It's not that, okay? That everybody's enslaved, okay? So the people are eating the flesh of beings that never had a real life. And for as long as humanity has existed, we have always had the urge to procreate. So we have always had the urge to mate, create families, have sex, bring children forward, right? And there was no disease that was really a part of that. The disease element, in terms of the HIV and the AIDS and all of the things that are coming forward now, has come as a result of, one, feeding off of all of these animals that have no immune system, as a result of the degrees of bastardization that they're experiencing during their whole lives. We don't get it. We're not making the connections. And that's why I speak to the food issues. I speak to this being an intelligence issue. It's not a black or white issue. People want to turn it into black and white. It's not a black and white issue. It's a life issue. It's an intelligence issue. It's a global issue. That every being has the right to exist. Every being has natural purpose in existence. And because we may not know what the purpose or what their contribution to the well-being of the earth is, does not mean that there is not one. You understand me? That's the order. That's how intelligent the intelligence of existence is, that it has actually gifted itself to absolutely everything and everybody all at the same time. And we should all be harmonized by virtue of every breath that we take, every beat of our heart, every step that we make, in knowing the divinity and the sacredness of life itself, and that we, as intelligent beings, man and wombed man, should do nothing to harm ourselves or anyone else. The issue is that we did not understand that there is truly, literally only one self. And it is the intelligence of existence. It is that intelligence that sees through every eye. Other ones would refer to it as God. So on one hand, we exalt God. On the other hand, we love being ungodly. We love being in a place where we take advantage of the suffering of other ones, the enslavement of other ones, the entrapment of other ones. And most of your professionals, at least here, most of those who are in the professions who have been educated, they are educated and they participate as part of the government or part of the system of things, which is literally only putting Band-Aids on the cancers that are being created. Because everything and everybody is under siege, in that what we should have been socialized to know in terms of who and what we are as human beings, what the purpose in existence is, and our education and our religious training should have supported us in being able to function on behalf of the whole of existence and as whole beings. Yes. But we should have never been poisoned. And that has to stop.
Yes. Yes. We have been poisoned. Yes.
Exactly. And because we don't drop dead right away doesn't mean that we're not being poisoned. The fact that since we were since we in utero, actually, you understand, depending on which generation you've come through, right? We have gone from fresh farm food. Some people are still producing food, still growing food, but most people are not. Most people are being fed that which is not really food anymore. Stuff that's coming out of boxes and cans and microwaving. And you understand, it's been frozen for a while. It's been freeze dried and dehydrated and all of that. And we're living beings. And what really animates us is our breath. The whole life force of existence is what we must have. But people are hoodwinked and bamboozled into thinking that you got to eat. You must have that which we call food. So that even though there are food banks, most of the stuff that they have in the food banks is not healthy. There's no life force in it. It's in cans. It's in boxes. And so they think that, well, we will feed them anything just so they don't have hunger pains. Mm-hmm. We'll feed them anything. But it's not food. It doesn't really help people. Why? Because what we should be taking in should be hydrating, because our bodies are made out of water, hydrogen and oxygen, right? It should be oxygenating so that we are literally creating new blood, good blood, because the spirit is charged on the blood. It is the condition of the blood that lays foundation for the clarity of the thought. And it is the clarity and the focused thought and the exalted thought that lays foundation for the good living and the good life. But when you're fed meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, artificially colored, artificially flavored, NutraSweet, MSG, all of these chemicals, pesticide, herbicide, all of this, then alcohol, alcoholic beverages, tobacco residues, white sugar, and all of this is dumped into the body, then you've got a bloodstream that becomes sludge. Mm-hmm. And this is why the people are on blood thinners, because their blood has been turned into sludge. And because you have all of this poison going on in the system of the person, it defiles the spirit. So we are literally in a war, being warred against by what I refer to as the forces of Satan, Lucifer, and the devil. The forces of Satan are organized religion, where they have been the wolves in sheep's clothing. You understand, where the churches and the mosques and the temples and the synagogues are filled with the people who really want the light, who really want to be obedient, but there's some very basic things that they are not being given in those institutions. And that is the real formula for life in terms of how to live lawfully, honoring the first law in thou shalt not kill, but also honoring that thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator, God, thy Lord, which is the law, with your whole body, heart, mind, soul, with your whole might. You understand? Love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? Because we are all part of this one fabulous reality called life and existence itself. We are all held by absolute law, but nobody, all of those who've taken responsibility to govern our mentalities, your government, you understand, those who have taken responsibility to spread themselves all over the world, their influence all over the world through media and propaganda and all of this, have not taken responsibility to be in harmony with the laws of existence themselves. And they think that you can be successful just because you have set goals and objectives to achieving whatever it is you want. And because you achieve those goals and objectives, that makes you successful. And I'm saying that success in capitalism is not necessarily success in life. Success in becoming famous and fortunate is not necessarily success in life. Success in becoming proficient in any area of talent is not necessarily success in life. The success in life is going to be as a result of our being individually, collectively, nationally, globally. Our success is going to be contingent upon our commitments to love life with our whole bodies, hearts, minds, lives, and souls, to honor life with our whole bodies, hearts, minds, lives, and souls, to be in the place where we are facilitating our own greater good. We are self-realizing, self-actualizing, exalting a full life's urge, doing nothing to undermine ourselves, rejoicing in the blessedness of our being, and honoring the integrity of the lineages that we represent. You understand? Because our wealth is already in us. It's in us. But what this garbage that they call food does is it puts us on a DNA lockdown, so we are not able to really activate the greatness of who we already are by virtue of the previous lineages that we have come through. And so being miseducated, religiously misled, culturally stifled by this divisiveness, that even within the cultures, you have fighting amongst brothers against brothers and fathers against sons and mothers against daughters. I mean, it's like the divisiveness is the problem. So when you look at the word devil, D-E-V-I-L, and spell it backwards, it's L-I-V-E-D. It's lived. All right, so I look at the corporate deities of death, the meat industry, the tobacco industry, the alcohol industry, the sugar industry, and all of those who support those industries as the forces of the devil, because they are dividing the persons, the individuals within themselves. They trick us into thinking that we can eat anything and be all right, that the only real thing about living is just doing whatever you want to do and being happy. But most people are not happy, and nobody is happy under the tenets of war and drone strikes And you understand, and all of this, and America is really not in a position to go anywhere talking about human rights violations when they are still supporting the incarceration of millions of people, you understand, unjustly and unfairly. That when you legislate, perpetuate death as popular and common activity, collective learning and education and the path of prosperity, and people have been under that for all of their lives, then who can be truly guilty except those who are the perpetuators of and legislators of death? Those are the guilty ones. So we grew up watching The Godfather and the Mafia and the Cowboys and Indians. You understand? We grew up, you know, with toy guns in the five and dime stores and tanks and military. We've been programmed to participate and to feel all right with it. The video games now are really in a vibration where they are training people, training youth to be able to kill. And parents are facilitating. Now the hospitals are filled with babies with cancer. Why should these children have cancer? Because of the hot dogs and the hamburgers and all of the artificial garbage that they eat, the advertising industry, and all of these things. The systems of death do not work by themselves. You have people who get up every day and go to work and feel that they're good jobs, making good money, hoodwinking and bamboozling people. You understand that this is success. And I'm saying, no, it's not. It's not success at all. That the only success there truly is when you are realigning yourself with the truth of yourself, with the divinity of yourself, and understanding that destiny for everybody is having to leave the planet. The issue that I'm bringing is that the planet itself is a citizen of the cosmic. And the cosmic is ever expanding. It's infinite and it is eternal. That which is the medium in which the planets are held is that absolute and supreme intelligence that beats our heart and that breathes us. We should not be leaving here through death. But the people are leaving through death. They are living, killing themselves. They are living, perpetuating death, when we should just be living and exalting life. And the path of life and the path of death do not look the same. The end result is not the same. But the people have been socialized and religiously trained to think that death is everybody's natural finality, destiny, and fate. And so they'll say, well, we've got to die from something. I've got to die from something anyway. Well, nobody gets out of this alive. Right? You hear that? I hear it all the time. And I'm just saying is that is the primary lie that people have taken that puts them in a position where you can't even realize to have a true understanding and understanding as to why you're even on the planet. We are not here to just live and work and die. We are here to self-actualize, self-realize, and harmonize with the laws of existence and the truth of who and what we are as these living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal points of the absolute and supreme intelligence, whose intelligence is absolute and supreme. We're here to create heaven on earth, as the earth herself is already in heaven. We should not die to go and be with God. We need to be living on a daily basis in honor of being in the presence of that which we refer to as God, which I refer to as absolute and supreme being. It fills all spaces. It's all pervasive. Everything and everybody is a part of it. It is that which constitutes the oneness of all of existence itself. And anything that you do against another, you do against yourself and you do against it. And so there is no being that is meting out punishment it is as a result of the violation of the laws of life that people are sick and ill and diseased and dying. And they can change it. Just like you change your underwear, you can change your thought and begin to live a better life.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm just saying is that we still have a direct access to absolute intelligence. It's just that people don't want to be that righteous. They don't want to be that godly. They don't want to be that clean. They don't want to go through the process of really clearing, cleansing, purifying these bodies. These bodies are the temple for the dwelling of the true spirit of the living gods and goddesses. You understand? These bodies are where we get to know God. It's where we commune with God. It's where we have the experience of that insight and intuition and our psychic unfolding. It's within these bodies. These bodies are our vehicles for navigating our earth residency. But when it comes time to leave, we should have lived the quality of life that acknowledged and was in obeyance and obedience with the laws that govern us, in being fully acclimated and charged and enthusiastic about living in the love of life itself, loving being loving, honoring existence, exalting a full life's urge. You understand? Because we get what we ask for. The issue is, what are we asking for? And the wisdom comes when we're asking to walk in the fullness of our own authenticity as these points of absolute and supreme intelligence, to really care to be vehicles and vessels of absolute love, absolute light, absolute wisdom, and absolute truth, as opposed to feeling as though you have the right to just have your own theory and opinion. You have the right to do whatever the hell you want to do, the way you want to do it, and damn anything and anybody else that has anything to say about it. You understand? Now, if you lived in a vacuum and your actions don't affect anybody else, maybe that you'd be all right with that. But the issue is that when you're a man or a woman and you have children, you can't afford to be that stupid, because your children will be even more stupid. You understand? We have to realize that the sins of the parents are visited upon the children. That's why it makes no sense at all to be in a place and space where you feel as though your right to be out of alignment will bring you a greater success or a greater value or a greater profit or a greater prosperity than being in alignment with the laws that govern existence itself. There is no prosperity when you profit off of killing people. You understand? And people say, oh, well, they do that because of the money. I say, no, they do that because they're wicked. You understand? Money has nothing to do with it. If you really had a desire to be truly wealthy, truly rich, truly prosperous, then you would love living according to the laws that govern your being. Why? Because your being is the greatest thing you will ever have. And there is no amount of anything that man has made or printed or formulated or formed or you understand, or produced that is greater than who and what we already are, but naked. We've been taught to devalue who we are and place a greater value on the things that man makes, like our automobiles. So we wouldn't put sugar in our gas tanks. We wouldn't put red Kool-Aid where our transmission fluid goes. We wouldn't take the flesh of a dead animal and stick it in our glove compartments or put it up under our car seats. You understand? We just wouldn't do that. We will go to the car wash and wash our cars. You understand? Sometimes every Sunday people are cleaning out their cars, but they will not take the time to clean their bodies inside. They may wash their bodies on the outside. You understand? They may dress themselves up. But riding in a Cadillac that you done cleaned and all of that while you're smoking a cigarette, to me, means that you've missed the whole point. Mm-hmm. You understand me? But that's the way that we've been taught to think, that we can defile these temples and then have everything else really nice. We can truly prosper. And I'm saying that's a trick. It's not real. And so, you know, I've been teaching, preaching, going through, you know, trying to get as many people to listen whenever I have opportunity. I always deal with the issues of our liberation, our resurrection, the prerequisites for our being qualified for continuance in existence. Because where you have so many ones who are out of alignment with the laws of life, who have no clue that there is inherent purpose in being, then you have a people who really will soon cease to exist. And all of these doors are being opened to issue the people off the planet through death. All of the sickness, all of the illness, all of the disease, all of the war, all of the suicide, you understand, all of the homicide, all of the murder, and all of these things, that this place cannot be sustained and maintained. The people cannot be maintained and sustained where they have no commitment to honoring themselves or life itself. It's not complicated. It's really very simple. And the simplicity of caring and loving and honoring and reverencing and cherishing and treasuring and obeying. You understand that these things are what constitutes real worship. Mm-hmm. And the way that we live on a daily basis is really the evidence of whether we worship or not. And our work cannot authorize us to be to being disobedient to the laws that govern life. We cannot be licensed, certified, and degreed to be the perpetuators of sickness, illness, disease, and death as a livelihood, and then think that we could have a real prosperous life, or that we will not have a tragic date with fate through sickness, illness, and disease, premature death. We should not be dying here.
Reading, writing, and the dead Reading, writing in the digits.